Theresa May says she hopes Parliament can come together despite MPs' differences over Brexit strategy. Speaking at Prime Minister's questions, she said the government was listening carefully to those who were trying to change its flagship EU bill. It comes after Rebel MPs vowed to oppose Downing Street's bid to enshrine the precise date of Brexit in law. Several Tories brushed off criticism of their stance, including being labelled mutineers in a newspaper attack. The Daily Telegraph's front page was also condemned by a government minister, and later in the Commons Mrs May was asked to agree that part of MPs' jobs was to scrutinise legislation. She replied that while the UK was definitely leaving the EU, there was a lively debate going on with strong views being aired on both sides of the House. We are listening carefully to those who wish to improve the bill, and I hope we can all come together to deliver on the decision that this country took, she added. The EU withdrawal bill is a key part of the government's strategy for leaving the EU following last year's referendum. It aims to stop EU law from applying in the UK and avoid confusion on Brexit Day, March 29, 2019, by putting all existing EU law onto the UK statute book. But there have been hundreds of suggestions by MPs to change the way it is worded, and the government only has a majority with the help of the 10 Democratic Unionist MPs. Ex-Minister Stephen Hammond told BBC Radio 5 Live the bill, which is currently being debated line by MPs, was the most important constitutional thing we will do for 50 years, adding, we might as well do it right. The government were boxing themselves into a corner in using the bill to specify the exact date and time of Brexit, 23 o'clock GMT on March 29, 2019, he said, because the UK would be hamstrung if the negotiations needed to be extended at the last minute. It's not about frustrating Brexit, it's about getting the best economic deal for this country, he added. Mr. Hammond said the Telegraph's front page, picturing him and 14 colleagues with the headline "The Brexit Mutineers" was silly, and criticised colleagues lecturing him on party loyalty. Several more of those named hit back at the headline on Twitter. Pro-EU ex-minister Anna Soubry described it as a blatant piece of bullying that goes to the very heart of democracy. Another potential rebel, Jonathan Janagli, tweeted to me, "This is about upholding our constitution and negotiating position," and Bob Neal said the bullies will not succeed, adding, "We will continue to work constructively for the best Brexit possible, that's our duty, and what parliamentary democracy is all about." Also among the critics was Brexit Minister Steve Baker, who tweeted, "I regret any media attempts to divide our party. My parliamentary colleagues have sincere suggestions to improve the bill which we are working through, and I respect them for that." MPs began 8 days of detailed scrutiny of the bill on Tuesday evening, with ministers seeing off the first attempts to change the legislation. The debate is continuing on Wednesday, with subjects being considered including employment rights, environmental protections after Brexit, the status of EU law and membership of the European Economic Area.